all know AI is changing everything, for better and for worse. And while the promise is incredible, there are 5 huge, critical problems that we absolutely have to get our heads around if we're going to navigate this new world. So let's dive in. It all kicked off with a really weird story. One night, back in February of 2024, the smartest AI on the planet it started losing its mind. ChatGPT began spouting this bizarre, poetic nonsense, gibberish. But you want to know the really chilling part? For hours, its own creators at OpenAI had no idea why. They couldn't explain it. And that strange, unexplained moment, that leads us straight into our first major problem, the machine's mystery. The uncomfortable truth is, we're building these unbelievably powerful systems without really understanding what's going on inside them. It's known as the black box problem. See, it's not like old school computer code, right? Where a programmer can just read every single line to figure out what went wrong. When you pop the hood on a modern AI, what you're looking at is a web of billions of numbers, all interconnected across hundreds of layers. We see the question that goes in, and we see the answer that comes out. But the why in the middle, it's a total mystery.
But this mystery isn't always a bad thing. Back in 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo AI was playing the world champion of Go, and it made a move 37, that was so creative, so alien, that the human champion was so stunned he actually had to get up and leave the room just to process it. That moment gave us a peek at AI's potential to solve problems that have stumped us for generations, from curing cancer to tackling climate change.
But that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We're rolling out this incredibly powerful, mysterious tech with almost zero oversight. I mean, think about that quote for a second. We have mandatory safety standards for food, for cars, for medicine, so why on earth not for AI? The good news is, this challenge has sparked a whole new field called explainable AI, where the smartest people are trying to turn that black box into a glass box. Okay, so that leads us right into problem number 2. And honestly, this one might be even more worrying. It's the machine's prejudice. Because these AI systems, they don't just learn from our data. They're also learning all our worst habits, our biases, and then they amplify them with some really dangerous consequences. And if you want to see the real-world cost of that, look no further than the US justice system. An investigation found that a courtroom algorithm was almost twice as likely to wrongly flag Black defendants as being at high risk of reoffending compared to white defendants. Why? Because the AI learned from our data. And let's be honest, our data is just a reflection of centuries of human prejudice. What happens is you get this really dangerous feedback cycle. We call it the bias amplification loop. It starts with our biased data. The AI learns it, makes it even worse, then it spits those biased results back at us. That reinforces our own prejudice, and we go on to create even more biased data for it to learn from. It's like a tiny snowball of bias rolling downhill, and by the end, it's a full-blown avalanche. But here's the flip side, and it's actually kind of hopeful. For the very first time in history, our ugliest societal biases are being reflected right back at us as cold, hard data. And if we can see it, that means we can measure it, and if we can measure it, we can make a conscious choice to fix it. We need to start bias checking our AI tools the same way we spell check a document. All right, let's talk about problem number 3. And this one's a lot more personal. It's about how this machine is impacting you. As we lean on AI more and more to do our thinking for us, the big question is, are we just outsourcing our brains? And you can totally see why we're so tempted to just hand over the keys, right? Get this. JP Morgan has an AI that can review legal contracts in seconds. That's a job that would take an entire team of humans 360,000 hours to do. The efficiency gain is just staggering. But it comes at a cost. And that cost is something called cognitive atrophy. The easiest way to think about it is your brain is a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's that simple. A recent MIT study was pretty alarming. It found that heavy ChatGPT users actually showed weaker neural connections in the parts of the brain tied to critical thinking. They were literally becoming less capable of complex thought over time. So what do? We've got to change our mindset. We need to start treating AI like a sparring partner, something that makes our own thinking sharper, not a crutch that just does the thinking for us. This is our moment to double down on the skills that AI can't touch: real creativity, critical judgment, and emotional intelligence.
Okay, on to problem 4, and this is where the stakes get, existentially high. We're talking about the machine's full-on attack on reality itself.
With the explosion of deepfakes, are we basically witnessing the end of truth as we know it?
See, it's not just about AI making fake videos. There's this much darker, more twisted effect called the liar's dividend. The moment people know that perfect fakes are possible, a bad person can take real evidence, a damning video, an authentic audio recording, and just say, nope, that's a deepfake. And just like that, our shared sense of what's real and what's not just starts to crumble.
But for every action, there's always a reaction. A whole new industry is popping up to fight back. They're creating things like cryptographic watermarks, basically invisible digital signatures, to prove where a photo or video actually came from. We're essentially building a global immune system for the truth. And that brings us to our fifth and final problem. And honestly, this might be the most daunting one of them all. We are in a high-stakes, unstoppable global race for AI dominance, a race where everyone is prioritizing speed over safety. And if you want to understand the scale of this thing, just follow the money. I mean, look at these numbers. In just 1 year, private AI investment in the US rocketed to $19 billion. That's more than double its closest competitor, China. This isn't just about building cool tech anymore. It's a new kind of geopolitical arms race. And that quote right there, that really says it all, doesn't it? Everybody involved knows the risks, but nobody feels like they can afford to hit the brakes. If one company pauses to build in more safety, they know their competitors will just race right past them. It's this mad dash to the finish line, and a lot of smart people are calling it our generation's Oppenheimer moment.
So, okay, after hearing all that, it's pretty easy to feel, well, a little doomed. But the future of AI is not written in stone. We have to pivot away from just the problems and start talking about what we can actually do. It's time to talk about taking back control. And this is the single most important thing to remember. The future of AI isn't some unstoppable force of nature that's just happening to us. It's the result of choices. Choices that are being made by people right now. And that means we all get to have a say. So with that in mind, here are 3 simple, actionable things you can start doing today. First up, audit your AI. Don't just blindly trust whatever it spits out. Actively check its work for mistakes and for bias. Second, use it as a tool, not a crutch. Challenge it, question it, and use it to make your own thinking even sharper. And third, in a world drowning in fakes, you need to become a source of trust. Verify info before you share it and help build a healthier, more resilient world online. Look, the question isn't if AI will change everything. It will. The real question is whether or not we're going to have a say in how it changes us. The future of human intelligence is being decided right now, and it's up to all of us to have a hand in writing it.